All right then, guys, welcome to the next session of the gold. How have you guys been so far with your trades? Has it been a good week, or has it been like 50-50, or has it been like, okay, it could be better, or okay, 50-50, still on the demo? All right then. All right. How many of you have taken a couple of L's this week? Be honest. How many of you have taken a few L's? How many of you have blown your account today? Christopher Derrick needs to pull his finger out his ass. Why is that? I thought Christopher Derrick was helping everybody, you know, like make this money. Need another strategy. Okay. Have you been looking at the IML and looking at the teachers and seeing which strategy works for you? Okay. All right then. This is interesting. Okay, so in terms of what I'm going to touch on today, most of it's going to touch on support, resistance, and uptrends and downtrends, and looking at key entry points. So that way you guys can get an idea of how to use the strategy that I'm showing you to apply it to any other chart as well. But we're mostly going to be looking at how the gold works. So let me just share what I'm about to show you guys, and we can get started. So before I start, can you guys please mute? Can you set yourselves to mute, please, guys? I think I can see a few people that have still. Let me mute it for you guys. 1 sec. Anthony, I have to mute you. Cool. And yeah, that's about it. I think everybody's muted now. Okay, so can everyone see what I'm showing you? Can you guys see what I'm looking at? 1 second. Can you guys all see what it is that I'm looking at? I'm trying to find. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yes, 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 yes. All right, then let's get started. Cool. So from what we touched on the last time I did this with you guys, the idea is to find where price is at and use the basic things that you need in order for you to understand where the market is going and where market is likely to meet at the next point. So this is something that I did yesterday. And yesterday, I had a few hits and misses because I basically took a risk thinking it was going to go a certain way. And I increased my lot size and had a very small account. So it took me out and then did exactly what I knew it would do. And then this is what we have here. So right now, I am going to remove all of this off and basically go into what is that you guys want to know. What exactly are you guys stuck on in terms of drawing up charts and finding key points and things like that? How are you guys with finding key points or entries? Give me a 2 if you understand support resistance. Okay, Diane, that's good, that's good, that's good. I usually draw the line, but that hits the most candles. Okay. All right then. Cool, cool, cool. Give me your 1 if you don't understand support resistance so well. How many of you don't understand support and resistance? Give me a 1 if you don't understand. Okay. All right then. I'll touch on support resistance a little bit I get it, but not always clear to me. All right, then I'll touch on support resistance a little bit, because that's the main thing that you guys need to understand before you take the next step into actually finding key points and anything in regards of finding entries. So what I've done here, I've done a support around here. And the reason why I've did that is because every time when I see price has hit, you can actually see where it's decided to make a U-turn and go the other direction. So all of the circles that I'm putting in yellow is technically where, if you get it at the right time, it would be your area of entry. So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that once you understand support and resistance, all the other things will start falling into place. So that being said, this is where we start looking at trends. So how many of you can actually pinpoint what kind of trend this is? Okay, 1 second. One second. I think a couple guys are. Sorry about this, guys. I think a few people are having a few errors of trying to get into the Zoom call tonight, but they should be able to jump on it. So my apologies for the slow replies and responses as I'm teaching this. So back to what I was saying, how many of you understand what trend we're looking at here? Yeah, you're right. It's going upwards. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well done, guys. So we've got an uptrend, as you can see here. But when we get around this area, it's almost as if it's slightly consolidating.
So I've missed, yeah, no, but I've just skipped because Byron, you just said someone sent a number. I'm like, yo, that's a phone
Hello?
number.
Whoever that is, could you please mute yourselves or
So I've
I'll
missed
unmute
like
you.
what?
There we go. Cool. So does this make sense, guys? Although it's in a kind of bullish sort of area, all of this is almost like consolidation. It's not strong enough. There's not much strength in the candles for you to understand where price is going. But every time where there's a form of consolidation, you're always going to find a very strong, sharp outburst. And it's either going to go up this way or it's going to go down this way. And once it breaks out, then it starts to follow a trend like this, which is something that we're looking for. Anything in the middle like this, me personally, I would avoid, but I do know people do try to enter in here, and sometimes it goes their way and sometimes it doesn't. What you want is something like this, where you're seeing a lot of strength, a lot of decision of where the market is going. And as you can see, this is a very, very nice downtrend that's taking place from here all the way here. So if you was to have caught that all the way down here, you're looking at least 69 pips, it seems, or 692, one of the two. Yes, an inverse head and shoulders, 692. Oh yeah, 692. So that's 692 pips. Thank you, Prince. 692 pips. Just imagine if you was to able to catch it at the right point, and then it goes all the way down here, then hits up, back down, hits up, and down. Now, the areas that I would have entered in this bit here would have been at this top. So let's say you were somewhere around here and then you saw this. I would have waited for a next candle, 2 red candles at least, for me to know, okay, price is actually going the other way. So maybe this might be a bit too early for some, depending on how well you understand where your market is going. Something like this, I probably may not have actually entered and would have waited a bit. So the next time I could enter the market would be here. Why do you think I would enter here? This bit here. Who could give me the answer that I'm looking for why I would enter this bit here? Let me zoom in a bit. This one here. Retest. Okay. Bearish engulfing. Yeah. Because we can see that the market is looking for sells based on all of this. So we can see, okay, yeah, price is starting to come back down. So based around this, because of the strength of the candles, it's not looking like it's going to go up any bit. So that's my little clue to say, okay, the market's not really looking for much buys. So it's likely that it was going to go into a sell. So based off of this wick that you can see, I hope you guys can see my wick. You've got a nice long wick and it's gone back into this. If it broke through, if the candle broke through this line and went over and then closed, I would have to wait for another candle to form, and it has to test this. It shouldn't break through this. It should test it and then continue to go the other direction. And that's when you know it's looking for a buy. But what it's done here, it's clearly respected this line. So what it did, it tried to break through, which you could say is a form of a fake out. It broke through, making you think it was looking for a buy, and then it stopped at the top here. Let me just get you, let me get my horizontal ray out so you guys can see. So where the orange is where the price stopped, and it stopped looking for buys. And then it went the other direction. And look, it closed inside the blue line. And then went all the way down and then went up here and then opened. And this is the last place it stopped and then went back and then did a retest, tried to hit it. It did not respect the line, which sometimes it does do. So not all the time you would want to see it always touch or respect the line. Sometimes it might just be an inch too close. So depending on your market and how well you know your market, you can decide if you could enter here. This would be another place where you could enter, even though it didn't reach my my trend line. They what's it? The trend line that I've got here, it didn't actually hit it. So me personally, I would probably not have entered yet until I saw another candle form, and then I could say, okay, I'll enter. Personally, when I'm doing, when I'm entering, I need to see my confirmations is that it has to hit or break through my resistance or my support. So like you can see here, it's gone all the way down and then it broke through my support. Another fake out. This is where the patience comes in. So you have to do a lot of waiting when you're looking at how the market's going. How many of you have actually thought, okay, it's going through, it's broken through, and then you enter without it actually closing? How many of you have made mistakes like that? Yeah. Okay. Who else? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Not closed though. Okay. I think I've made every mistake going. Okay. Yeah. the good thing about making mistakes is that you learn from them faster. Me, as I'm teaching this, there's a lot of mistakes that I'm doing, and then I send it through to everyone and then showing where I've went wrong and what I could have made right. Yesterday, believe it or not, I blew one of my accounts yesterday because of the way I entered the market. And it was around here where this happened. So it respected my line. And then I decided that it was going to go into a sell. But then what had happened was I went a little bit too early, and then it did a fake out and it didn't handle my account. So my account had to close itself out and then blew my whole account. And then it went in the direction that I knew it would be. If I had decreased my lot size, that definitely would have kept me in and I would have been in profit. So this is where risk management comes in. So as much as I'm making mistakes, I'm also learning from it and applying discipline as well. And with the gold, there's a lot of waiting and patience that you have to do before you enter, because gold is very, very volatile. So how I go about it is through scalping every hour or a few hours, but I'm just scalping in and out, in and out. If I feel that it's a good market based on the news, then I may stay in a bit longer and just watch the wave, technically like what you're seeing here. But I'm always just keeping an eye on it just to see where it's going. Is there anything you would like me to go over that you guys are not sure of, and then we can touch on it before I go on to something else?
No, dude.
Is there anything you guys wish for me to explain? Seems clear. Okay. Is there anything that you guys want me to go over a bit? Okay. Where do you think the market's going next? Okay. Right now, I think the market is looking to go into a buy, and I will explain the reason just after. Okay, finding the perfect entry. Okay. The way to find the perfect entry is technically when you're seeing how the price hits your support and resistance. This is where I was saying, when you're doing your support and resistance, the idea is to actually put it where price has hit and then went the other direction. So that's how I place my my resistance. 1 second. Finding the perfect entry. We're gonna try and look at some of that now. We'll try and look for a perfect entry, and we will also look at how we draw up charts as well. Cool, cool, cool. Why is it doing this? Cool. Oh, my computer's acting up. Sorry about this, guys. Just trying to sort something out. Do you think the market respects more trend lines or support and resistance? It does both. It respects the support and resistance, and it also respects trends as well. If that makes it clearer for you. Well, did that answer your question, Chanel? It respects the support and the resistance, and it respects trend lines, uptrends and downtrends. In terms of perfect entry, where I've put my circles is the best times to enter. Here's another one where I could nicely enter. And what it's done, it's hit my support. Well, it broke through this main support, and then it's hit my top support trend, and then it done a reverse, and then gave me a long wick, and then tried to go up, but then it went back down and it hit my support, went up again, then it broke down, went all the way down here, but then it closed. And then a new candle formed, it tried to break through, and then reversed and went back down, and then it closed here. So personally, here, somewhere around here was where I would have entered. I could have entered around here, just based off what it's done, of what I've seen it do. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, Laura? Okay, yeah. Yes, I was just wondering, would that be a fake out? Yeah, something like this. Well, the candle makes it not a fake out, but based on the wick, you can say it's a fake out. This one, just from the size of the wick, this was technically a fake out. Not the red one, but the green one itself. That long one was a fake out because it kind of made you feel like it was going the other way, and then it reversed all the way back down. The buyers and the banks have tried to push the money another direction, and then it closed here. So that long wick was a signal to say that price is trying to continue into a sell. So, but it had you fooled thinking it was still going to continue some more. So this green one, the first one is your fake out, and then this one, your second one is your tryout, and then your third one was a lot more realistic. If you can see how short it is, but it's still showing you a wick, that would be where I would have entered. So these two I would have waited just to see what price does, and then I would have waited to see if a red candle sell is formed. And then my next confirmation is if it breaks my support. And it did. And then it formed a new candle, tried to do a fake out again here, and then reversed back. So this would be the time when I can say, yeah, let me enter into a buy, which is why I've put my circle there, if that makes sense, guys. Give me a 5 if all of this is making sense. Yes, Laura, I'll wait for the candle to close. Give me a 5 if all of this is making sense for you guys. And give me a 2 if you feel like it's not making that much sense. Cool. All right, there's a lot of 5s here. Okay, I should have said give me some flames. But that's cool. All right, then. Now, okay, we've got a few. Simon, what is it that you're not sure of? If you type it out, I can try and see if I can answer your question or show it. So if the first red candle closed below the resistance, then we would enter a sell. The first red candle, if I was looking for a sell, I would want my first red candle to break, which is what you see in here. So let's say this is my first little clue that it could be going into a buy, into a sell, sorry. I would want it to break through, and I would want it to close. So it can close anywhere between here. As long as the candle is in between here, then I know, okay, when the next candle comes, I would need it to do a retest, and the retest has to respect this resistance and then go the other direction, which I would want to see coming down here, which is what it done here. So this is where I know, okay, it's going into a sell. If that makes sense, guys. You're confused at finding good entries. Okay. I've got a couple minutes left, guys. So I'll try to end it before it cuts. But for those that feel that you need an extra support, I don't mind to continue this after hours. But you guys just DM me afterwards and let me know if you feel like you need that extra learning. And I'm happy to do that. but just let me know now so I know what to do for later. What I'm going to do is close, shut all of this off, and I'm going to actually show you how I actually would enter now where price is at. So I've put my resistance here because that was the last place where it respected before it went the other direction. And I would put my support here, not here. And if you look at the way I've done my support, I've put it down here, and you can kind of see how it still kind of respects the line, even if I go back on myself. Look how many times it's respecting it. Look how many times it's respecting. Can you see the pattern, guys? Can you see how the pattern is going? Even though it looks like it's going in the upper as I go backwards, if I just focus on where it is now, you can see how many times the screen is small. Okay, is this okay for you? I trade on the hour, but sometimes I might go on the 30-minute or the 4-hour. But 1 hour is where I do a lot of my draw ups, and then I just look ahead and see where price is at, which I will show in a few minutes before time closes. But what I want you guys to actually see is how important your 15 minutes sometimes, 15 minutes sometimes, but regardless of whichever time frame I'm using, as long as you understand support, resistance, the trends, and the pattern of where it's going, you would feel a lot more confident to enter in, regardless which time frame you're using. But depending on what kind of style of trader you are, you might be more of a scalper. So anything between 5 minutes to 30 minutes might suit you and your time. For me, an hour, because within the times that I'm trading, I also give myself an hour or 2 hours at least. So I just fit my time schedule around my trading time as well, which is why I do an hour. But for anyone else, you guys might be, your time might be a little, might be busy within your time, so you might want to bear that in mind and think, okay, let me trade on the 5 minute or 15 minute. It's up to you. But I would say look at the whole thing and then look at what patterns you see. But I just look at the hour, and then from there I look at what the other time frames is doing, if that makes sense, guys. So right now I've got my resistance and my support, and you can see how many times it's hit and tried to hit it and then hits it respectively. Anything like this, where I'm going to put my circle, is where I can say, okay, it's respected my trend lines. Every time when I'm doing a trade, I'm looking for how many times it's respected my lines before I decide to enter. So where I've put my circles is where I would say it's respectively respected my lines. Anything like this one here, let me change the color. Anything like this, it has it respectively done, even though it's still giving me a move. I'm looking for these, not so much these. There we go. So the one in blue is something that I would probably enter if I see the pattern of where it's going, but I would prefer if when you're doing your support and resistance, you're looking at where the right price has hit and respected for you to identify that it's a good trend to enter in. So right now the market is closed. Whoops, let me get rid of that. The market has now closed. So now what I'm going to do is put my trend here. And what I'm going to see is when the next candle comes, if it respects this trend, then I would look for my buy. And then I would make my take profit somewhere around either here. This can, I would say, is my first take profit. And then this would be my second. And then the next one would be my third, which is somewhere up here. That's how I would do it. Or that's if I want to break it down into smaller chunks. So first take profit, second take profit, and third take profit. You can do it that way, or you can just decide, you know what, let me just do within the support and resistance. So let's say the next candle comes, it respects this line. If it does, then you know you're looking for buys, and then I can just make the top yellow, which is my resistance, my take profit. It might not have to hit it, but at least I've got something that I can say, okay, this is where I'm going to, where I'm expecting it to go. But not all the time I let it hit take profit. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if you're satisfied with your profit, then I would say, okay, yeah, call it quits and just go about your day. So it doesn't always have to meet take profit, but that's entirely up to you. But based on where I've put my take profit 1, 2, and 3 is based on where market price previously hit. So I've made that my take profit because you can see how many times price has hit before. So if you look at this first take profit that's in orange, look at where the price was at before. So if it does go up here, there's going to be a certain level of why would it respect that trend? The reason why is just based off of how I basically just do my trends, really. But I've noticed every time when I've done this, it may respect it, it may not. But this is just a little guide that I give myself. So it could respect it, or it could just break through. If it breaks through, closes, and then tries to come out of it, but respects it, then I know I'm looking for a sell. So that's just something that I've been doing for a while with gold. So if it does one or the two, then I know which direction to go from there, if that makes sense.
What?
David.
No, you went away.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes.
So I hope this was something that you guys have taken some nuggets on. I think it's about to actually come to an end, so I hope it doesn't close out. But if any of you guys feel you want some extra support, I will do an extra one within the next couple of minutes. But just let me know if what I've shown so far makes sense to you guys. Oh, thank you, Laura. Has all of you guys actually understood what I've done so far? Okay, thank you guys, thank you. Okay, and if you guys feel like you want a little extra support for afterwards, I'm more than happy to do a next session in the next couple of minutes. But just let me know if you guys feel like you need some extra help.
Okay. Come here then. What's wrong with him?
Okay, thank you guys, much appreciated.